Hi there, this is Prasad Domala. Welcome, and today we are going to discuss the installation and configuration of Oracle Identity Management. Oracle Identity Management has many products like Oracle Internet Directory, Oracle Virtual Directory, Oracle Unified Directory, and so on. But in this video, I'll install and configure just OID, Oracle Internet Directory. I'll cover other identity management products separately. So let's dive in. First things first, let me tell you the environment I'll be using today. I'll be using Oracle Linux 6.7, 64-bit. We need a database for our OID to store the data. So I'll be using Oracle Database 11204. We also need Oracle WebLogic Server, and 10.3.6 is the version I'm using. I'm using WebLogic generic jar installable. So I need JDK as well, and I'm using 1.8 version of JDK. Finally, I'll install and configure Oracle 11.117 version. I have a Oracle Linux 6.7 VMware already built, and I have my database and JDK already installed on a virtual machine. So many of you might already be using virtual machines. If anyone is not aware of virtual machines, I should say that using virtual machine is a very good option if you want to try out any product or play around with any software. If you don't want to spend time on building a virtual machine from scratch, please do let me know in the comments, and I can give you the link to the VM I built and used in this particular video, and you can right away jump into playing with OID. Now let's see the software required. We need Vmware Player to run the virtual machine. This can be freely downloaded from VMware website. If you're building the VMware from scratch, you'll need 11.204 database and JDK 1.8. You can download both from Oracle website as well. Then you need Oracle Identity Management 11.117 software. To create the repository, Oracle provides a handy utility called as RCU, Repository Creation Utility. You should use RCU version 117 or higher, that is 11.117 or higher. Here I'm using 11.1.2.20 version of RCU. I'll leave all the links in the description. So let's get into the steps we'll be performing today briefly. Number one will be to start the database on the VMware, and then we'll look at some of the database prerequisites required for OID. Once your database is ready, we create the repository on the database using RCU. Then we need to install Oracle WebLogic Server, and finally your identity management installation. Okay, let's get into the installation process now. You can also check my blog for step-by-step instructions with screenshots and commands. I'll leave the link in the description. The first step in the process is to set a couple of parameters on the database, which are prerequisites for our repository creation. I'm logged in to my virtual machine here, as you can see. Let me get the IP first and connect using SSH client. Here I'm using MobiXterm. You can use any SSH client of your choice. So that's my IP. I'm logging in as Oracle user. So the first thing is to start up the database. So you should connect to the database using a sys account and execute startup command. So I'm using SQL plus as sysdba. Once you are connected, you can issue startup command to start the database. So once your database is started, you need to start your listener using lsnrctl start command. So once your listener is started, check for the port 1521 if it's listening or not using netstat. Okay, the port is listening here. So let me connect to the database as sys again using SQL plus. You need to set two parameters on the database, open cursors and processes. Both open cursors and processes should be 500. If you're intending to install Oracle Identity Manager or Oracle Access Manager, make open cursors 800. I'll be setting it as 800, as I'll be using the same database for my Oracle Identity Manager and Oracle Access Manager installations later. So you can check the default parameter by executing show parameter, open cursors. As you can see, the default value is 300. I'm setting it as 800 by running alter system command. That's alter system set open cursors is equal to 800 and scope is equal to both. So you should see a system altered message. If you run show parameter again, you should see the new value. Okay, that's 800. Now let's check the default value for process. As you can see, the default value for process is 150. We need to set it to 500. So run the same alter system command again, this time for process. And remember, when you change the process, you need to restart the database. So let me quickly restart it. Okay, now my database is back. Let me check the value for process now. You can see the value is 500 now. And the last thing you need to do is to grant execute permissions to public for DBMS reputil table. This step is required only if you are using 11.204 version of database. As I'm using 11.204, I'll execute the grant command now. So that's grant execute on DBMS underscore reputil to public. So you should see the grant succeeded message. And now your prerequisites are done, and your database is ready for repository creation. Okay, let's start repository creation now. And you can run RCU from any machine where you have access to your database. Okay, as you can see, I'm running it from my Windows host machine. So I have extracted my RCU zip file and I have created a RCU home directory. So I'll go into that directory and navigate to your bin directory. Then you need to run a file called rcu.bat. So you can just double click that, which will start your repository creation utility. So you can click next on the welcome screen. And then here you have two options. You can either create the repository or you can delete the repository. In our case, it would be create. So I'm selecting the create option there and click next. And on this screen, you need to provide the database details. So the database type will be Oracle database. So you can use any compatible databases. As you can see, you have SQL Server, you have IBM DB2, MySQL, and so on. So in our case, it will be Oracle database. And you need to provide the host name or IP address. I guess our IP address is 192.168.203.135. So let me give the IP address. Then the port is 1521 and the service name is ORCL in my case. The username should be sys. Remember that you need to create the repository using your sys account or any account with sysdba privileges. Then I'm providing my sys password, then click next. Now it will run some prerequisites on the database, and once all the prerequisites are satisfied, you can click OK. And now you will be presented with a screen where you need to select the components. So remember, repository creation utility is a common utility for many middleware products. So you'll see a lot of middleware products here. So you need to select your appropriate component here. And you need to provide a prefix for your schema. So provide some meaningful prefix so that you'll be able to identify it in the database. I'm giving it as OIAM. You can give OIAM dev or OIAM prod, depending on your environment. I'm just giving it as OIAM. And the component, I'll be selecting the OID that will be under identity management, Oracle Internet Directory. As I'll be using this database for OIM and OIM as well, so I'll create those schema as well. You don't need to select these if you're using this database only for OID. And as you can see, as I selected OIM and OIM, you can see some other schemas also got selected. Those are the mandatory schemas for OIM and OIM. Okay. So the schema prefix will be added for each schema except ODS. So for ODS, you cannot change the schema name. It should be ODS. So once you have selected your components, you can click next. And then it will do a component specific prerequisites. And once everything is satisfied here, you can click OK. Now you need to select a password for your schema. So you can either give a same password for all your schema, or you can use separate password for each schema. I'm giving same password for all the schema. Okay, once you provide the password, click next. And now it will ask you for the table spaces. So you can accept the default table spaces, or if you want to customize the table spaces, you can select manage table spaces, and you can select the parameters and path for different table spaces. I'm leaving it as default. Click next. And then it will ask you for the confirmation to create the table spaces. You can click OK. And it will start creating the table spaces now. Shouldn't take much time. Okay, the table space creation process is complete now. Click OK. Now it will present you with a summary screen where it will list down all the table spaces and schemas. So you can verify all the details and click create. So depending on the components you selected, might take around 3 to 4 minutes to create all these schema. I'll pause here for a moment, and I'll come back when this process is done. Okay, after 3 minutes and 30 seconds, the creation process is complete now. And if you have selected just OID, it should be less than a minute. Okay, now our repository creation process is complete. You can click close here. Next we'll be doing the WebLogic server installation. Okay, now let's start the WebLogic server installation. At this stage, make sure your Java path is set. Let me verify my Java version. Okay. So my JDK path is correct. So now you can go into your software directory where you have downloaded the WebLogic software. So I have kept it under my home directory, software. This is the jar file, wls1036_generic.jar. So to start the installer, you need to run java-jar and then your jar file name. Now it should start the installer. Okay, so this is the WebLogic installer welcome screen. You can click next here. On this screen it will ask you to create a new middleware home. Okay, so middleware home is kind of a root directory for all your middleware products. Okay, we'll be later installing our IDM home inside your middleware home. So you can create a new middleware home here. I'll give mine as /u01 app Oracle product FMW. So this will be my new middleware home. Click next. Okay, now it will ask you for security updates. I don't want that, so uncheck it, and it will ask you for confirmation couple of times, 3 to 4 times actually. Okay, once you continue, you'll have two options here, typical and custom. I'm going with typical installation, which installs WebLogic Server and Oracle Coherence. Click next here. Okay, now verify your JDK path, which will be used for our WebLogic installation. Click next. And now it will ask you for the home directories of WebLogic Server and Coherence. So I'm leaving them as default, WL server _10.3 and coherence _3.7. If you want, you can change them. And now you'll get the summary screen where it will show you all the components that are being installed. You can click next here. It will start the installation process. It should be pretty quick. Okay, congratulations, your installation is complete. So now our WebLogic installation is complete. So you can uncheck this quick start because we are not doing any domain creation now. So you can uncheck that. We'll do the domain creation as part of our IDM installation. So click done here. Now your WebLogic installation is complete. Okay, now let's install our IDM 11.1.1.7. So I'm in my software directory. So I have extracted the software into IDM 11.1.1.7 directory. Here you will see 4 disks after extraction. Go to disk 1. And there you will see a file called as run installer. Okay, execute that. It will start your IDM installer now. Okay, this is your welcome screen. Click next here, and you can skip the software updates. Click next. Now here you have 2 options, install and configure and install software, do not configure. So the first option, installs IDM, configures your WebLogic domain, creates admin and manage servers, and also creates an OPMN instance all in one go. You can also just install the software using the second option, which copies the product binaries. You can configure it later by running config.sh scripts from IDM home directory. This is particularly used when you want to integrate your directory integration platform used for OUD or ODSC. So in our case, we are not doing that. So I'm going with the first option, install and configure. Now the prerequisite check will be done. Once your prerequisites are met, you can click next. So now you have 4 options here. So the first one is, if you are building a new IDM environment, you can create a new domain and configure it. The second, if you have a domain already and you want to extend it to include IDM. And third, you have expand cluster. So you have a clustered environment already. You need to, if you want to add a new member to that cluster, you can select the third option. And you can also configure your IDM without a domain. Okay, that is, if you just want the OID instance, and if you wish not to manage your ODSM using WebLogic, you can select the fourth option. So in our case, I'm going with the first option. I want to create a new domain for my IDM. So the username, I'm leaving it as default. I'm providing a password. Confirm your password. And the domain name also, I'm leaving it as default. That's IDM domain. Okay, now you have a couple of options here where you need to specify some names and directories. So the middleware home will be automatically picked up, which is our U01 app Oracle product FMW. And the Oracle home directory, I'll leave it as default. So this will be the directory which will be created under your middleware home. And then you have your WebLogic Server directory, which is fine. And then you have your instance location. So this is the location where your OID instance will be created. I'll just change that name to something meaningful. I'll put it under instances, and I'll call it as OID_inst1. And I'll change the name as well, OID_inst1, because this is my Oracle Internet Directory instance. So these are the parameters you need to provide on this screen. I'll click next. And it'll ask for security updates again. You can uncheck that. And click next. Click yes. And here you have different components, okay, which you need to configure. So as you can see, the management components, this Enterprise Manager and ODSM, Oracle Directory Services Manager, is both are mandatory. And you have some federation components, will not be configured them now, so I'm unchecking that. And we don't want the Oracle Virtual Directory as well, I'm unchecking that as well. So I just need Oracle Internet Directory and Oracle Directory Integration Platform. So Directory Integration Platform is basically to set up replication between different directories. And now you have a screen for your port configuration. So you have two options here. You can either do auto port configuration, which configures your OID with the default ports, that is 3060 for standard port and 3161 for SSL port. And you have another option to specify your ports. So you can specify them using the second option here. You can put the ports in a static ports.ini file. If you want to use some default ports like 389 and 636, you can put them in the ini file and it will use those ports to configure. I'm going with the first option here, auto port configuration, to use the default ports. Click next. And now it will ask you for the database schema. You can either create the schema from this screen, but we have already created our schema using repository creation utility. So we can just provide the connection string here. So that will be localhost, and then port 1521, and then colon service name ORCL. And the schema name is ODS, you cannot change that. And then provide the password. Click next. Okay. Now you have Oracle Internet Directory specific information. The first one is ream. Ream is nothing but your base directory, or you can call it as root domain inside your OID, under which your users and groups will be created later. So I'll call it as DC is equal to, say, my company, comma DC is equal to com. So you can give it any name. And then your OID administrator is cn is equal to rcl admin. Then you need to provide for your administrator password. Okay, this is the ID and password you'll be using to connect your directory to perform LDAP operations. Click next, and now you'll get a summary screen here, and you can click install here. So the installation process will take some time, and in between you need to run your root scripts. So I'll just pause the video here and then come back when we get to that stage. Okay, now the progress is 100%, and the installer will ask you to run oracle root.sh script. So let me log into another console window as root. Let me navigate to IDM home, use your own app, Oracle product, FMW, Oracle underscore IDM1. So here you'll find a script, oracle root.sh. So you need to run it. Make sure you run it as root. Okay, once that is done, you can go back to your installer screen and click OK here. And after the root script, the configuration process will start. So the configuration is done in 2 steps. First, the WebLogic domain configuration, that's bootstrap domain configuration, during which the domain, admin and managed servers are created. And it also applies JRF and EM templates at this stage. Second is IDM component configuration, during which OID instance is created and configured. And also directory integration platform is configured at this stage. So you can check the configuration for each and every step here, like create domain, create ODS managed server, and so on. And here you can see the identity management component configuration. So this configuration will take approximately 20 to 25 minutes. So I'll pause the video here and I'll get back when done. Okay, after approximately 20-25 minutes, our configuration is complete now. Let's take a look at the configuration steps quickly. So it created the domain, and it created a ODS managed server where our Oracle Directory Services Manager will be running. And it restarted our managed server. It applies 2 templates, that's JRF template and EM template. And then it extends the domain to include JRF, then restarts the managed server. And then it creates the AS instance. AS instance is nothing but our OID instance. And it also creates our enterprise manager agent. Next, in the IDM component specific configuration, it creates the Oracle Internet Directory inside the instance, and then it starts your OID, and then it deploys the ODSM, that is the ODSM console, and then it creates a DIP resource, directory integration platform resource, and then deploys the directory integration platform, configures DIP mbean, and then finally it restarts DIP managed server. So that's the configuration part. So you can click next here. And then this is the installation complete screen. Here you can have a look at some of the information before clicking finish. So it gives you the information about your new IDM environment. So it gives you the domain name, where your domain is created, and then the domain port. This is where your admin server will be running, port 7001. This is the WebLogic console URL running on port 7001. You have your EM URL, that's your enterprise manager URL, and then you have the ports for your Oracle Internet Directory. The standard port is SSL port is 3161, and the standard port is 3060. So you can make a note of this information. Once you are done with that, you can click finish here. So your IDM installation is now complete. Now it's time to verify our installation. So first let's verify our Oracle Internet Directory. So navigate to your instance bin, that's U01 app, Oracle product, FMW, instances, OID underscore inst1, and then bin. Here you will have a file called as opmnctl. So you can run opmnctl status and -l. -l is for long listing, which gives you the PIDs and ports, etc. So if you run that, you should see something like this: your OID component, and then your process IDs, the status of your process, and then the ports here. So LDAP S, that is the SSL port, is 3161 and the standard port is 3060. So your OID is up and running. Let's verify the status of the ports. You can do it using netstat. First let's see 3060, that's our OID port. Oops, sorry, it's a typo. Okay, it is listening. Let's see 3161. Sorry, 3131. It's listening. Let's check 7001. That is your WebLogic admin server port. It is listening as well. And finally 7005, which is your ODSM port. It is listening as well. Let's access ODSM console now. Running on localhost 7005/ODSM. This is your ODSM home page. Actually, ODSM is a web application which can be used to connect to any OID or OVD. On top right corner of the home page, you'll have a link to connect to a directory. Click it and select create new connection. On the new connection screen, select the directory type as OID. You can give any name you want, something like dev OID or prod OID. I'm giving it as OID. Next, server, localhost in my case, port 3060. I'm using standard port. If you wish to connect using SSL, give 3161 and select the SSL enable checkbox. Username will be cn=ocladmin. Provide the password and click connect. On the home page, you can see some statistics about your OID, like number of entries, connections, and process, etc. If you go to data browser, you can see your LDAP structure on the left hand side. You can see your base domain. In my case, dc is equal to prasad, dc is equal to com. And that's it. You now have a working Oracle Internet Directory environment to do your hands-on. Hope you all liked it and found it helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more videos like this soon. That's it for today, and see you in the next one.